Thanks. I got 20 more things. So
20 more things.
tell Vanessa I say hi.
Oh well.
Bye.
Later.
Thanks for tuning in to Yappin N Shxt, where we as brothers and friends hop on the mics and have conversations. Sometimes they're serious, sometimes they're not. Sometimes we react, and sometimes we just yap. We appreciate you tuning in and hope you enjoy the episode.
All right, what an intro. You hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you all right.
Yeah. Oh, man. How's it going for your Monday? Or Tuesday. Yeah.
Is it Tuesday? Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
I don't even friggin' know what day it is.
Yeah.
Nah, it's going well. You know, it's just another day in paradise. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's not bad. I'm just been chilling. Been a kind of a busy but not busy day, if that makes sense. I mean,
Yeah. No, I feel you. It's it's one of those, productive day, but busy week. Just have a lot of stuff going on, but it's just like one of those one day at a time kind of deal where, it's a lot of stuff going on, but then it's like, it's it's not dragging, if that makes
yeah,
sense. Yeah.
no,
Not too
I
bad at
hear
all.
you. It's pretty much how
Yeah.
it is because, like, I'm like, it was good. I know I
Yeah.
keep thinking today's like Monday, but it's Tuesday.
It feels like it.
I think
Yeah, I got
it's one of those things. I don't think it's dragging on. Maybe my brain is dragging on. No, but dragging on quite yet. I think obviously I don't remember what happened or what happened. Jeez. Okay, maybe I am dragging on. I don't know. It just feels like that point where I don't remember what day it is, just because we had
yeah.
another long weekend.
Yeah, it did feel like it.
So it was a
did.
long weekend. We were just busy the whole weekend. Our friends came down and visited, so that was kind
Yeah, I saw that. That was nice.
yeah, so it was nice to see people. Because obviously we don't see people living out of state.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to just chat with people that are our friends in person. So that was kind of nice. But it was very energy draining, to say the least. Just because we were out all day and doing all the things because they were only here for just about a day and a half total.
Yeah.
Almost 2 days, just about 2 days.
Shit. So at least you still had Sundays to yourself and
yeah.
Monday.
We had Sunday because they left about 10-ish. But yeah, I was just exhausted. And then Monday started and I was back at work. And then tomorrow and Thursday I have to go to Richmond which is if anyone's familiar with Richmond, California, it's kind of ghetto. But
no. What are you doing out there?
I have to basically babysit the building that's out there. We have a facility out there that does like prop training for ships and that kind of stuff. So I have to go babysit the building essentially because no one else is going to be around because everyone's on vacation.
I mean, there's still like other staff there, right? Or is it an empty?
No, it's literally just me.
Damn, dude, how big is the building?
Huh?
How big is the building?
It's not horribly large. It's like, think of like those portables in school, but like 3 or 4 of those maybe put together. So it's pretty like big-ish, but not
like what do you have, like walk-ins? Like, why do you gotta babysit it?
Because there's trainings happening out there. So there's like groups that are using the space for trainings and
I see. And so if they need questions or help, you're on call. Or
well, that and like because we don't have staff from like the campus side. Yeah, I don't even work for the campus technically. But they don't have keys or anything like that to get into the space. So it's like someone has to be out there. I drew the short end of the stick.
How far is Richmond from where you're at?
About 45 minutes from where I'm at currently. It's about 20 minutes from campus. So
that's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad once I'm at campus. But if I'm driving straight there in the morning on Thursday, like I go tomorrow afternoon.
I see.
Thursday morning, I got to get there, but I got to be there at like 7 6:15. So that means I got to leave my place about 6:15, or yeah, about 6:15 in case I want to
Yeah.
stop and get coffee or something.
Yeah.
Because yeah, well, that and it's going to be dark out there too. I guarantee it. Because it's on that side of the bridge, so it's kind of
Yeah.
it's a little bit more cloudy marine layer over on that side in the morning. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
that'll be fun. I got to do it next week again. So it's kind of
yeah. I mean,
leading into
yeah.
the next week. So I'm kind of like,
I don't know too much about Richmond, but all I know is that maybe on your lunch break you'll wander over to the local high school and you might coach the team to a
yeah,
champion,
it's
a bunch of
literally
yeah. For those who don't get the reference or too young, one of my favorite movies from back in the day called Coach Carter.
yeah.
Because it was
Not to
based off
be
in
yeah,
Richmond,
not to
right?
be
Yeah.
confused with Richmond, Virginia, which is what
No,
a
no,
lot of
yeah.
people think it is. No, it
Nope, it's
is
Richmond,
Richmond,
California.
California.
Great movie. I forgot about it. Featuring Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, it was a great based on a true story. Um, a group of ragtag kids um, um, participating in a basketball program, and Coach Carter, basically an inspiration to them and coached them. They didn't win the championship, right? I think they went to it and lost.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, something
I'm
like
pretty
that.
sure they lost. Yeah.
Yeah. Classic early 2000s type movie. I think if I recall correctly, the old memes that go around about movies back in the 2000s, where like they always have like that montage at the end of like where did every kid go to,
Mm-hmm.
or what. Yeah, did it have one of those? I felt like it did.
I
Like a
feel like it did.
montage, yeah, like a montage of like, oh, the point guard, was able to graduate finally with a 2.0 and go to a college of his dreams, and then another one's like the center, unfortunately had his life cut short to gang life, or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I swear I had like a montage like that. um but yeah, that was a good movie. Coach Carter 2 might be up in the works with Tyler heading to Richmond this
Yeah.
this week.
True.
But yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah, no, it was a great movie. So
Yeah,
that's where I'll be at for the next
there you go.
basically week. So
Yeah.
I mean, hey,
Oh,
at least I'm getting mileage and my toll paid for, so that's all
there you
I
go.
really care about since
Yeah,
they're sending me out there.
that's all that matters.
Yeah, honestly,
Um,
I'm like, as long as my toll gets paid, that's $7 every day. So I'm
man,
like,
that's a
just
lot.
give me my toll
Yeah,
money back, and I'll be good.
I
So
forget how fortunate up in the Pacific Northwest we don't have tolls like that. You know, where like if you drive through the Midwest or there's just like tolls everywhere.
yeah, well, I mean, technically, you got the Narrows if you go
Yeah,
across.
yeah, but it's but then like when do you ever need to go, you know like, okay, maybe for you is different because Allie lives out, family lives out over there in that side. You
Yeah.
going often, but then again, you only pay the tolls when you're exiting the Narrows coming back into the mainland.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's not like you're paying it both ways. So for us, who don't go out that way often, it's like if even once a year is even generous to go out that way. um
Yeah. Probably.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say like most people won't go out that direction. The only other tolls you really deal with are like the carpool lane, like
Yeah, but
fast lane, that kind of stuff on
yeah,
the
but that's only on the east side over there
yeah,
by
that's the east
Bellevue.
side. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for those who don't know, on the east side of Washington, like the Bellevue, Redmond, Kirkland area, no matter if you're a two-person, two people in your car, if you don't have the toll badge, you're paying a high fee, even in the HOV lane. You know, um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Fun
Oh
times.
man.
Yeah. But hey,
Anyways,
that's
yeah.
what happens.
Let's jump into our comment reaction of the segment of the night. Um, Let me get through a couple three articles, and then we'll get to kind of a fun one at the end of the night. But speaking of traveling, we were just talking about traveling. Um, Uber was just in the news recently about wanting to. They're highly considering acquiring Expedia because not only is Uber in the car ride game, they started it actually. Well, I don't know who started, but they were the most popular. Um, and then they went to the food delivery game and grocery delivery game. They are wanting to get into the hotel booking game. Um, for us who travel often and we use Uber, Lyft, or anything similar to that, or all the perks of booking everything through your phone now. How do you feel about if Uber was to consider getting Expedia? How much, how how willing would you be to book a hotel directly from their app? That could be changed. That could be game changing.
I mean, it could be. It could be.
Yeah.
I mean, they already
can you
have
imagine?
like so many things in there. It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can you imagine
I could see it though. I could see it because like I know, my company, we partner with Uber, right?
Yeah.
So I think they get some sort of discount for having a business profile with, with Uber or whatever company it is.
Right. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah.
And right now, like, for my company, like they obviously have like a travel hub where you book all your travel, you can do all your rentals, that kind of things, whether that be cars, hotels, flights, that kind of stuff. But I mean, if they were to do something like that where you could maybe book that through like Uber or something, that might be something that a company might look into. Me personally, I don't know if I'd really do that necessarily, go through Uber. I mean, if it's convenient and all of that, sure.
I think it's the convenience.
It is the convenience because I mean, I'll be honest, like I don't really use Uber Eats all that much. I use DoorDash every now and then. But again, that's the convenience factor because man, some of these fees are so freaking high now, dude. I'm just like, dude, I'd rather just get in my car and drive my ass 20 minutes down the road to get this food. Sure, it's inconvenient for me at that point, but like some of these fees, I'm like, damn, I'm paying like $10 in fees, plus I gotta tip the driver.
I think convenience is probably key in this thing. I mean, I don't know the stats, but I'm sure if you ask, young millennials to late Gen Zers, who are kind of in that mid-20s to mid-30s range, who travel and use these convenience apps, like, how crazy would it be? I'm sure if there's a rating score for everyone of how safe you feel using these apps, and putting your information on it, I think the rating would be pretty high. It'll be very trustworthy, right?
Yeah. I mean, because most of the time, I mean, you have to basically go through, all the things and on Uber to even be on Uber,
right?
Whether you're a delivery driver or just a driver, hell, even a passenger. Technically, if you get bad reviews, then you get basically booted off the damn app, or suspended or whatever it is. You get too many negative reviews on there, and it's like, nope, sorry, you're gone.
Right.
So I mean, I can imagine that though with hotels though, like you get enough shitty reviews on a hotel, they just take it off the. Anyways.
But I would say, I mean, I don't know the numbers because when you travel and you're booking a hotel, I mean, our wives, or us sometimes, would book everything in advance, right? So you're not stranded. But what about one of those times where I don't know the statistics, but I'm sure if there's a survey done, those who get like stranded, right? Like or no, even perfect, like your plane gets delayed or canceled, and then instead of like having to log into your computer or go through your for those who have like like I'm not going to name any names, but like credit card company apps, and you have rewards, you know how slow those apps are, you know? Um, oh, it's super quick to tell you how much debt you have, but when you're trying to use your rewards, it's like taking forever to load. But to have a quick app like Uber, can you imagine being like, oh, I'm stranded. Let me hurry up and book a hotel real quick. I think it'd be nice. I
Yeah,
would like
yeah,
it personally. I
yeah.
don't know
I
how it
mean,
affect everything else, because I know I have a travel rewards card that already partners with Expedia, so I don't know what that would do with that partnership.
yeah,
Or maybe I get Uber as a reward, you know. Um, yeah, without naming any names, because we're not sponsored, but the particular card that I have, if you know too, Tyler, is already partnered with Lyft and DoorDash,
yeah.
as a
Mhm.
reward. So it's like, all right, how does Uber play into this factor? If
Yeah,
they right now it's not a given, it's just a high consideration. Obviously, being a US company, they got to go through their antitrust, review and everything. So um yeah, I'll be curious how to see. I for one would actually like it.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been traveling a lot since I was in college, or even I got
Yeah.
out of college. So, I have specific cards that are tied to specific brands. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So,
Yeah.
for me, like, I have a rewards number at pretty much every hotel I
Yeah.
stay at, essentially.
Yeah.
But like for me, like there's a lot of partnerships even in my business right now that like Marriott's kind of like the preferred
Yeah.
to the business line, but also like that's the one I typically stay at.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, like, don't get me wrong, I'll book a cheap hotel. I'm not worried about that. But
Mm-hmm.
Marriott was just kind of always the one that kind of,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you know, reliable. So for me, like to your point of, what we've talked about in the last couple episodes, the apps of like traveling and all that stuff. Um, yeah, I've never had an issue with like the Marriott app,
Yeah.
for instance, just like an airline or anything like that.
Right.
Instance for me, or an example, is like when we started driving from Washington back to California.
Yeah.
One of the times we just were like, now we're going to start driving. We're like, where do we want to stop? Because to your point, like, it's last minute. Who knows? Like, we didn't book this ahead. We were just like, on a whim. We're like, you know what? We want to get through Portland at least tonight. We'll see how we're feeling once we hit Portland.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things. Like, we pulled up the app. I like while I was driving, and I just let her log into my account, pulled it
Yeah.
up just to see what was in the area, found the cheapest option, plugged it in, and just booked the hotel. Um, so it was nice. It was nice. It wasn't too slow or anything like that. But to your point, the other apps that are already kind of slow and laggy and
Yeah.
all of that stuff, when you're trying to partner with them, it's like, sometimes it's better to go directly to, whatever the source is,
Mm-hmm.
which is usually what I do anyways. So even like with Expedia, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Expedia sometimes is a little slow on things. Sure, it'll find you a deal, but if you're like a point, well, I was going to say a different word, but you know what I mean. If you're
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
hoarder of points, you want to go directly through whatever it is, whether you fly Alaska, Delta,
Mm-hmm.
Southwest, whatever the miles you get there, or if you travel with a certain Hilton, Marriott,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you know what I mean, whatever brands are out there. Marriott's also crazy now that they acquired like all the MGM properties and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like if people didn't know that, Marriott owns them too. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So it is nice when I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go to
There's a lot of
Vegas.
like sub brands as well.
Yeah, all the sub
Yeah.
brands and all that stuff. So it's kind of cool now when I go to Vegas. I haven't been in a year or two now, but I could use like my Marriott points, or I even get
Yeah.
Marriott points by staying in Vegas at
Yeah.
the MGM Grand or something. But I digress there. But people like their points and doing all that and their travel perks because at the end of the day, you're going to get points which lead to free nights or free travel or whatever it might be. The same thing goes with like rental cars and all that stuff. So, um, sometimes going to the source is just better than going through like Expedia, which might get you a better deal, but who knows? You might actually get a good deal with just the company you're looking at too.
Yeah, seriously.
And that goes for any of like the travel like assistant type of things, not only just Expedia, but like Hopper. Although Hopper kind of just scours the internet and just finds the cheapest time to purchase your flight. Whereas Expedia and that kind of stuff kind of looks at certain deals and tries to give you partnership deals and that essentially.
Right.
But there's a few other things like that out there. I'm drawing a blank on the other names, but yeah, no, I mean
like Trivago.
Yeah, Trivago and all those things, and Travelocity or whatever it is.
I mean, they all do the same thing. At some point,
do.
they overlap.
They do.
Yeah.
I think to the point though of the article, like just Uber kind of being that like hub.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad thing. If that's the direction they go.
Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't necessarily see myself going to Uber to purchase my flight, my hotel, and my rental car, and my just transportation if I don't get a rental car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But or if I want food, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe you're exactly the market that they're trying to change, and use their app more often, right?
Hey, don't get me wrong. I mean, like if that's what everything goes to, then sure, I'm just gonna adapt to whatever I need to adapt to.
Yeah, exactly.
But these businesses are probably going to just stay the same. They're not going to like fold.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So they'll still have their apps. They'll still do all their things. And like I said, if you're a point hoarder, if you go through the Marriott app and you have like a Marriott credit card or something, you get 3 times points for staying there. Expedia, you get whatever Expedia points you get, but I don't know what really that tallies up to. I used Expedia when I first started traveling, and it was like, this is cool. But then I ran into some issues when I got to a place, and it was like, well, you didn't book through the hotel, so technically we can't help you. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't help me? But yeah. I mean, I feel like Uber might have a leg up in that realm of things, but I think it would be interesting to see. I feel like businesses would probably partner with them more than just the individual person might use it as much. I feel like it could lean that way, but with everyone purchasing or ordering or reserving things on their phone, just kind of how it is.
Well, we'll see how it shapes up. I mean, it might fall through. It might happen. But hey, man, the future is always changing. So we'll see how things will be. In a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Technology is always moving, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Speaking of technology, there was another cool one that just came out. The FTC, the feds, just finalized a new rule. I don't know if you heard, but I guess it's been in the works, and it makes a lot of sense. But the new rule that they just approved is like aiming to make all and any subscription-based services as easy to cancel as they are easy to sign up for, including not just online subscriptions, but in person too. So, one of the biggest culprits is gym memberships, make it very difficult to cancel. And so this new rule is basically saying, as easy as it is to click sign up, there should be just as an easy amount of steps to click, cancel. And I think that's a good thing, because
I agree.
Psychologically, I don't think that there's any, if you like the product, you'll keep it. But for the people who's like, hey, I need to cut on my budget this week or this month, I mean, or I can't go. An easy way to cancel would be just as fun, or just as easy, just as helpful too. So yeah, so I'm hyped for that. I think it's coming out later, maybe summer of 2025. I think
sooner
it's
the better, man. Sooner the better. I'm with you. And that's what most of these businesses are kind of, they thrive on, is that they hope just people forget, because it's just a minute in their eyes. Somebody forgets to cancel their subscription and just lets it run because they forget they got it. That's how they get their money. You know what I mean? They have these deals like gym memberships and everything.
Those
You know,
bastards.
don't get me wrong. Like I
Yeah.
do enjoy going to like Planet Fitness
Yeah.
because I can go to any Planet Fitness, wherever it is, wherever I'm traveling. It's not like, you know, say a local gym or the YMCA or that kind of
Yeah.
thing where you're kind of tied to that specific location.
Right.
So I know what I'm getting out of like my Planet Fitness thing. Granted, I have not gone in the last like 5 months
Yeah.
because it's been so busy. However,
Yeah.
I cannot cancel it unless I handwrite a letter and send it to my home branch in Washington from California,
Yes,
asking for them
I
to
remember you
cancel
were
my
talking about
membership.
this. Yeah.
So it's stuff like that where it's like, that is ridiculous. What do you mean I got to write you a letter and just to cancel? Or when I fly home, I have to go to the home branch and then cancel my membership
Right.
only at that location. So it is kind of funny. Or if I wanted to change my home location, I'd have to go to that branch and be like, hey, I moved to California, make
Right.
that my home thing. So I can go cancel it whenever I want. So
Right.
it is kind of funny that when you get to that point, you're like, it's a pain in the ass to cancel the subscription.
Yeah, which is ridiculous, man.
It is. It is nice though, like, you know, to the point of like, if I'm traveling and the hotel doesn't have a gym that I'm staying
Yeah.
at, most hotels do have a gym, even if it's like a little, you know, shack, like, well, shack, I didn't mean, you know, small room that
Yeah.
has my like one treadmill, one bike, and like a bench. You know, sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. And
Right.
the nice thing about Planet Fitness is that they're kind of everywhere at this point. And you know, I pay for the black card membership or whatever, which allows me
Yeah.
to go to any of them in the US. I think it's the world, but I can go to any of them.
Right.
If I'm traveling, I don't have to worry about not being able to not go to the gym kind of thing. If I wanted to work out or something when
Yeah.
I'm traveling or whatever it is. So
Well,
at least I know what I'm getting out of that membership.
Yeah.
But yes, to your point, like, man, it's a pain in the ass to cancel that stuff. And same with some of these other like subscriptions. Some of them super easy. We're sad to see you go. We hope you come back. Then they send you a
Yeah.
shit ton of coupons to say, hey, come back. It's 40% off this month and for your next 3 months.
Right.
If you know, if you're dealing with a budget crisis or something.
Right.
But yeah, no, some of them are just like, they make it nearly impossible for you to cancel anything.
Nearly, man. Yeah.
And it's just like there's a hyperlink in like the fine print at the 3/4 of the way down on the fine print page, which no one fucking reads. So it's just one of those things. And you know, like right now we're in the process of budgeting because, you know, we have a wedding to pay for and we have
Yep.
a bunch of other stuff that we have to save up for.
Yep.
So, you know, we've been in the process of canceling some of the things or, you know, doing all that and putting them on hold. But yeah, no, same thing we just talked about. Like some of those things, I'm like, there's no fucking way that I can cancel this unless I pay more money for a subscription, like Rocket Money, which is part of Rocket Mortgage or whatever.
Yep.
Because then you pay money to
That one's ridiculous as well.
And it finds the duplicates that, like, if you didn't know you had a subscription, which I'm like, oh shit, maybe I didn't realize that I was paying for Netflix twice. Oh shit, thank you, Rocket Money.
And I heard Rocket Money
here.
was I heard Rocket. I use Rocket Money as well, and every time I open the app, they try to get me to use the their paid version, but I just click it. But I even heard reviews that Rocket Money makes it even hard to cancel their own subscription. So yeah, because I used to have Mint, and if you're on Reddit or Reddit Finance, Mint was the go-to app for a lot of like, be able to see all your accounts in one dashboard, and it was great, man. I mean, everything was free, like it had all the features, but then it recently, went bankrupt or closed down. So, so everyone's like struggling to find a new one, and I decided to jump on Rocket Money. But honestly, it kind of sucks. We're not sponsored, but
I was like, it's one of those things. Like their biggest thing is like, we'll find the subscriptions that you don't know you have and cancel them for you. I'm like, that is actually kind of good.
It is, but for a fee.
Or whatever. But so I know it's one of those things. Everything's going to a paid subscription point at this point. So it's kind of like, oh man. So then it's like,
Yeah.
where do I go to find
Right.
a good dashboard for all the
Yeah.
things? And that's why people have all these freaking accounts. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All over the place, man.
Whether it be Credit Karma with Intuit or Rocket Money.
Hmm.
Uh, some banks actually allow you to just put all of your assets into the dashboard,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is kind of nice. But then, then you may not be able to see your investments either. So it's kind of like,
Right.
oh,
Right.
well, shit. Now I need something, like
Yeah.
Fidelity or Vanguard or
Right.
whatever,
Right.
wherever my money is. If I have
Yeah.
crypto, Coinbase or whatever. Um, so just finding it all into one place, or
Yeah.
or you end up like us and we have spreadsheets.
Yeah. But even then, spreadsheets, I have spreadsheets still, but it's still very nice to be able to look at all your accounts in
Mhm.
one dash.
Yeah.
Like if you need to make a quick decision on something to move money around, or
Oh yeah.
like
Yeah.
the Excel spreadsheet is for like deeper diving,
Budget,
budget and
savings,
stuff.
all
But
that stuff. Yeah.
yeah, but sometimes you just want that one app that could just give you a holistic
Yeah.
view of
Yeah.
all your accounts, and you're like, okay, I see where everything's at. If I need to make a quick budget decision, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And plus Rocket Money, the free version, it only syncs and refreshes once a day. So
That
if
is,
if you move some money around and then you want to kind of take another look at it, you have to
yeah.
wait until literally 24 hours later. Um, Again, unless you pay for the subscription.
Right.
Like Mint Man was like the best, and I like, because it was the best, it was also not making money, so that's why
Right.
they went bankrupt and they had to like sell it off. Um, no, but it was owned by TurboTax, right? Yeah, Mint was owned by
Mint
TurboTax.
was TurboTax and
Yeah,
wait, TurboTax.
yeah, it was owned by, no, not TurboTax.
Because Intuit
What was
owns
Intuit?
TurboTax.
No, it was owned by
Intuit.
Intuit. Yeah,
So
that's what I meant
Intuit
to say.
owned both Mint
Yeah,
and Credit Karma.
yes, and then they decided to scrap Mint, which they bought out a long time ago because it wasn't turning a profit, and
Mhm.
decided just to kind of like cram it all into Credit Karma. I haven't looked at Credit Karma yet, but I heard bad reviews about it. But honestly, now that I tried Rocket Money, I think anything's better than it.
Correct. I've
Um,
had Credit Karma for a long time. It's not bad.
is it like does it at least refresh when you want it to, and just see all your accounts? I don't need to do any. I don't need
right.
it to do anything for me. Like I don't need it to cancel my subscriptions. I don't need it to do all that. I just need a dashboard that shows all my accounts.
Yeah. Let me.
Yeah. Like
You
I don't
said
need
that,
it
I don't think
to.
so.
I don't need it to teach me how to budget. I don't need it to budget for me. You know what I mean? I just need to see all my accounts in one dashboard.
Yeah. Let me.
Yeah. Because if that's the case, I do like Rocket Money, how like I don't have the paid subscription, so I don't need it to cancel subscriptions for me, but it does list and categorize all my subscriptions. So that is a nice factor. Um, but honestly, I just need to see all my accounts, investments, debt, money accounts all together.
Yeah. I mean, it does that for you. Like it does
Yeah.
put everything in there. Whether it refreshes, like
Yeah,
I
I mean
I would test it
that's
right
not the
now, but I
big
don't
thing.
necessarily
Yeah,
need to move money around at the moment.
yeah, no, that's not the biggest thing. Yeah, um, even if it refreshes like every 6 hours, I'm just kind of annoyed that Rocket Money is once a day, every 24 hours. I don't need it to
Yeah.
be refreshed down to the second, but
That's fair. That's fair.
it's just yeah. But anyways, moving on. Um, Here's a quick little fun fact. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I don't know if we're gonna react to it, but I thought this was pretty cool. A little fun fact for the day, a little side segment. Did you hear that viral interview or meme that was going around recently about the songwriter who wrote Rihanna's SOS song?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
where
did see that.
for
Yeah.
those who don't know, one of the main songwriters for Rihanna's SOS song uh, admitted that the entire second verse of the song is composed of random random hit song titles from the 80s and they basically stringed them all together to form a coherent like verse. Um, but he admitted that it was all just like random, you know. He was doing manual AI work before AI was
Yeah.
invented, um, to create a hit song verse. So I thought that was pretty crazy. I thought that was a fun fact. You know, not hating on it. It's still a good song. You know, songs. You know, you can argue that, you know, yes, it wasn't very creative in terms of like unique penmanship and like poetry, but it still took some work to string together, you know, random titles to make hits, to make a verse. So I still applaud it. You know, I don't see anything wrong with it. You know, I think it's funny, a really cool fact about it. So
Yeah.
yeah, so you got that. I mean, um you know, you got to do what you got to do, right? Especially if that's your job. Sometimes you gotta roll the dice and make shit up, you know. Um, but yeah, SOS is a pop song, anyways. You know, it's not anything, you know, inspirational, you know, lyrically.
Hmm.
So yeah, um, you know, can you imagine like I don't know. I digress. Uh, Last one of the night. Thought it would be a fun topic to wrap it up. Regarding our Seattle Seahawks. I saved this post for this conversation, this editorial for last week. And so originally my title for this editorial that we're going to react to was Seahawks. Is it now time to panic? Right. But
Yeah.
this was before the Atlanta game. Now that, you know, uh, Seahawks are back again, top of the division, 4-3 record. Right, 4-3
Yeah.
record. Just beat a pretty decent team, healthy decent team, right? Because you can argue that Miami was a good team at the time, but you know, with the injuries,
Yeah.
doesn't count. But Atlanta fully healthy for the most part. Um, no, man. So I mean, I guess that the question still stands. Is it not? Is it still? Is it time to panic as a Seahawk fan, or are we just enjoying the ride and you know, literal roller, not literal, but you know, figurative roller coaster ride. That's the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, hey, the biggest test is what this week, right? We're playing the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Yeah, Josh Allen proving that he's one of the best in the league and continues to show why he is the best. Um, you know, he was always middle of the pack, and I always thought that um, he hid a lot of his flaws from being a running quarterback, right? Right. Just the same way that I thought of Lamar Jackson, right? They're hiding all their flaws, but Lamar Jackson is what, top five? He just hit top five um most passing yards, right? Or something
Yeah.
recently. Yeah.
Hmm.
And then Josh Allen, with no like, oh well, recently he just got Amari Cooper, but with before Amari Cooper, 4 or 5 games in. No. What are we? 6 games in before Amari Cooper. Only quarterback to not throw an interception so far. I think he has what, 11, 12 touchdowns to 0 interceptions before this week.
Yeah.
Even then, this week, he still doesn't have an interception. Um, so he's going to show that even without a supporting cast, or supporting cast at the level he used to have, he still can sling it and take over a game even without running. Now that he has a superstar receiver in Amari Cooper, I mean, hey man, this might be it. I would love to finally see him go over the. He's one of my favorite, you know, quarterbacks. I would love to see him go over the hump finally, you know, playoff hump, and make it to a Super Bowl. So, um, but I mean, even with that, the fucking Chiefs, man, 6-0, and potentially they can be 9-0. There was like talks about how the Chiefs can be 9-0 before they face the Bills.
Yeah.
Because the Bills are like what, week 10, week 11, and so the next 3 games for the Chiefs are technically easy wins based on schedule. So I don't know, man. Chiefs are still it. I can't hate on them.
Yeah. No, I know. It's
Yeah.
like you can't really.
Yeah. But going back to the Seahawks, though, I mean, how you feeling?
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's really time to panic. I'm just kind of along for the ride at this point.
Yeah.
We'll still find a way to lose to the 49ers, even if they're missing half their team.
And the
That's just
Rams.
how
Yeah.
that's just how it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we did prove a point against the Falcons because the Falcons were projected to win that game.
Yeah.
We were coming in as underdogs, which I thought it was kind of funny because, like, don't get me wrong, the Falcons are good, but I'm like, we've had a pretty decent career against Kirk Cousins, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Like when he was at Minnesota.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I agree, man. I personally, I'm along for the ride as well. But no excuses. But you got to remember, um, they were the only team this year during their 0-3 stretch to have 3 games played in 10 days. So now that they're fully rested,
that was kind of When we saw that, I was like, who the fuck hates the Hawks that much at the scheduling NFL office?
I mean, it's not a surprise, right? East Coast
it's really
vibes,
not.
right?
It's really not. Yeah.
I would say Mike McDonald is bringing, the East Coast love with him.
Yeah.
So that's the good thing. I mean, even like watching the Monday Night Football last night, he was name dropped a couple times, because of what he did in Baltimore, and people are saying like how great he is. So he brought the East Coast love with us. Like if he could get the Seahawks into the playoffs, he's winning Coach of the Year, right? Even if we lose first round, and that's a lot more recognition than the East Coast bias gives Pete Carroll.
Mm-hmm.
So not too upset. Along for the ride. I mean, and our players are finally getting healthy, so it's nice to see all that. And yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with the Bills. Honestly, I think they can give. I think they can beat the Bills.
I think so.
We get Woolen back. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Our O line looked really good. Yes, 2 days. Against Atlanta, and they had that rookie right tackle that was doing really good. Gerald, or what's his name?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was reading about him.
Yeah, and we got our defensive line back.
Yep, Byron Murphy getting back.
Bro, that guy's I mean, they put the stats up. The 3 games we lost, he was not playing.
Yep.
And I mean, it's the numbers are striking, and it's kind of crazy because he's a rookie, but that's how much of an impact that guy already has. You know what I mean?
He literally gets double teamed, and a lot of people that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. People are now back to being like, you know what? Like, because honestly, man, I've been following a lot of news on Reddit. A lot of Reddit users during that 0-3 dip was already calling for Mike McDonald's head, already saying that Brian Murphy is trash, the worst pick ever. I mean, come on, we had worse picks during the Pete Carroll era. Saying like Byron Murphy sucks. And then all of a sudden, when we get that rest, right? Not 3 games in 10 days. We get that rest. Byron Murphy is back healthy. Yeah. All the haters come back.
Seriously.
Yeah. So it's hilarious. It's hilarious to follow.
I know, right?
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited to see. I think next week would be a good reaction point to see how what the Seahawks do.
Yeah, it'll be interesting for sure.
Yeah. All right, man. That's all I got. Nice and sweet. Good catching up with you.
Oh, always.
Yeah. Any final thoughts for wrap it up and call it good night?
I don't think so. Yeah, it's been that type of week. If you're watching the World's, that's the other thing I was gonna say. The World Series.
Oh, yep. Yeah. I'm actually excited to watch it. You know me, I'm not a big Yeah, you know me, I'm not a big baseball fan, but hey, Otani, like he's the one to watch. If you're not a baseball fan, right? But both teams are solid from what I've read. But coming from me, non-baseball fan, I mean, not even just Otani. There's like superstars all across the board. Aaron Judge, I'm familiar with his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm actually excited to watch that.
Yeah, no, it'll be good. It'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. So
Yeah. All right, man.
It's one of those things though. I'm also not excited because it's just the Yankees and the Dodgers.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's the two highest paid teams
yeah,
in baseball. But whatever.
yeah,
It's kind of it's funny, but it is what it is.
yeah. All right, man. Final thoughts. Wrap it up.
Yeah, that's my final thoughts right
There
there.
we go.
Baseball.
All right. We're into sports season. The NBA just started. Finals baseball. We're in the deep in the middle run of NFL season. And other sports. So, as we like to end with our favorite saying, keep talking with each other, keep thinking together, keep growing together. Even if it's just little tidbits here and there, but keep being there for each other. And we'll see y'all next time. Have a good night.